Welcome to Hello Port Hueneme. I'm your host Tom Dunn, and today we're at the Port Hueneme Chamber of Commerce, and we are going to have a discussion with Ventura County Representative Kelly Long. Welcome, Kelly.
Thank you for having me here.
And with us also is Mayor Tom Figg. Welcome.
How you doing?
Good
morning.
Glad you're here.
Hi, Kelly.
Hi, how are you doing?
I want to thank the Chamber CEO for allowing us to do this here, and this is the first show that you will be on, introducing you to the people of Port Hueneme. And just to let people know, Kelly is going to be here every other Friday, and she will be welcoming you to come down and discuss issues and topics that you think need to be discussed. And I think it's a great way to get the community involved.
Yes.
In what you're trying to do and get the feedback.
I agree tremendously. I think it's important that we hear from our constituents, and our focal point for my office is that we have moved our office space from Ventura County's Office of Administration back into the constituents area so that we can have those good connections and those good heart-to-heart talks. So we have office hours at Port Hueneme. We also have office hours in Santa Paula and Fillmore, and also in Camarillo. So in case you're in any of those locations, please feel free to stop by and talk with us. Or you can email us, call us, see us at an event and talk to us. We really are trying to make sure that we're out there. And so my staff with Paul Grossgold, who is our chief of staff, Matt Guthrie, one of our field reps, Martine Hernandez is another field rep of ours, and then Nancy Lee Phillips, who's our scheduler. So the five of us really are trying to get out into the community as much as possible.
I met you just a little over a year ago at the Hueneme Beach cleanup.
Yes.
And you and your daughter came down and helped us clean up the beach down there, and it was very successful. And a lot's changed in the last year.
It has. It definitely has. It's been a great experience running for the County of Ventura Supervisor District 3. We've had a great time in making sure we understand the needs and desires of our constituents. Maybe I should just go over what my district is.
Sure.
For District 3, we go from beach to mountains. It's very diverse, and every city is different. We go from part of the Navy base, and then we go to Port Hueneme, southeast Oxnard, Camarillo, then we go up to Santa Paula, Fillmore, Piru, in East Lockwood Valley. And East Lockwood Valley. So yes, if you think about that, not every city is the same. We have, everyone has their own city council, their own chamber of commerce. There's so many different nonprofits, great businesses. And so it's really important that we understand the needs and desires for each of the cities. I have 5, along with all the county area. And so on one day I was on the dredging vessel, learning how the sand gets to Port Hueneme, and then also receiving an email on the snow removal up in Lockwood Valley because of the safety of our constituents. So on any day, we're traveling from one point to the other, making sure that we're going to the meetings and supporting our community.
But you didn't know you were getting into all this, did you?
You know, I had an idea, but I really got involved because my friends in my community asked me to be a part of it. I've been on the Pleasant Valley School Board for 4 years and took an active role in being an advocate for our community and our students. And so I took this as the next step. That's what we're doing. We're looking out for our constituents, our communities, and now it's just a lot larger. We talk about transportation, safety, the economy of Ventura County, housing, water is a huge issue, behavioral health, medical. We have hospitals and clinics. There's 25 different departments, along with all of our nonprofits and so forth. So it's a larger umbrella, but it's still for the good of our constituents. And that's really what I appreciate.
Mayor Fig and the city council, back in, I think it was around December, adopted a strategic action plan for the city of Port Hueneme to work on all the issues that we have. And I'd like for him to talk a little bit about that with you, and you guys let us know how your viewpoints and his will work in making Port Hueneme a better place.
Well, I think, first of all, without even having you speak on it, just focusing on your strategy so that you have a clear vision for your community, I congratulate you. That is extremely important to have. For my side of things, we're looking at the economy as a whole in Ventura County and how we can keep our community here. We're looking at safety, and we're also looking at being transparent and making sure that our tax money is spent in the right way, since it is all of our money that we paid for taxes. So I am sure that it will definitely blend, but I'd love to hear from you.
Well, before I do that, it's hard to believe both of us have been kind of in our respective positions. I was appointed the mayor in December, and you came on board shortly after that, officially sworn in.
Yes.
And so here we are almost 6 months down the road, and we haven't had this opportunity before. And I'm sorry that we haven't been able to connect sooner, because I'm thrilled that you're on board. And that's not to take any thunder away from Kathy Long. She was a good representative, but you bring such energy and enthusiasm and optimism, and not to mention that your agenda seems to dovetail quite well with what I think we need to be doing together as a partner. So talking about the strategic plan, it's not rocket science. Our single biggest public access or asset that the city controls and owns is the beach. Mm-hmm. And as you are aware, is that we have a reoccurring erosion problem. And this is where the county plays an instrumental role in that you govern the sand trap at the Channel Islands Harbor. The Harbor District is a beneficiary of having a protected seawall, so their property is not at risk. And obviously, as a public amenity, as a tourist attraction, it's critically important that we maintain a nice beach. Mm-hmm. And the party in between all that is the Navy. And technically, they're the ones responsible and technically the cause of the disruption of the sand flow. Mm-hmm. So, unfortunately, we're in this kind of knee-jerk kind of approach to the problem. And we need to be more proactive, preventing the erosion from occurring so that we don't have these episodes where people feel threatened, their properties are threatened, and that then the expense to the city to have to, deal with the aftermath. So one of the initiatives in the strategic plan is to really develop a stronger political coalition between these various parties that I've mentioned, and not just to beat on Congress and saying we need money, right. But I would like to start, forging special legislation that elevates the importance of our facility, particularly in the fact that the military is a big part of this whole play, and elevating so that we don't have these situations that we're always competing for a limited amount of money, and instead I think that we ought to be looking toward creating a permanent fix by way of legislation that elevates the importance of our respective assets. So that's one of the big parts of the strategic plan, is to change from a reactive kind of approach to one that's more, let's get in front of the wave before it breaks on us, okay. Literally. So that's something I look forward to working with you and your staff on and seeing how we can help each other out.
I definitely heard that with the constituents and with your city council. And there's many boards and commissions that I'm on. And luckily, I've been fortunate to be on the legislative committees as well. So CSAC, which is the California Society of California State of Association of Counties, and we all get together, our 58 counties, and for legislation. And then also with NACO, National Association of Counties. And what we've been doing is going to Sacramento, at least I have been, going to Sacramento and also DC to ensure that our legislators understand the platform of Ventura County, and that's what we believe in, what's the best for our constituents. And so a big push that we've done on legislation for the federal also is to make sure that they understand the needs of Port Hueneme and how important that dredging is. And so I've been with Congressman Brownlee and speaking to others to ensure that we have the money set aside so that we can be proactive in working with our harbor commissioner and our cities and really make sure we form a group. One good thing is that we just got $400,000 for the breakers. So making sure that port is really protected and fixed. And then also making sure we have the money set aside so that we can make sure the dredging happens and that our community is protected. I agree with you in that I want to be a team with Port Hueneme to make sure that our community is safe and that that beach is there. Because sand does travel from north to south.
Well, except that it stops at the entrance
And
to
it
the Port of
stops,
Hueneme.
yes. I think everyone should go on that dredging vessel, it's amazing.
It is.
This
It is.
huge bit, and then it just funnels the sand and travels it miles and miles. As an engineer, it's an amazing feat.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned about your lobbying efforts, and that's part of the idea here in creating a coalition is that we join our forces and we join our agendas and we contribute to joint lobbying efforts. Right now, it's a little bit spotty. And I'd like to see if we could bring together those resources together, both financial and human resources, political power together to forge this initiative. So that's something that I very much look forward to working with you on.